Hello and welcome back to my channel and yet another album review. This time it's going to be my Bloody Valentine's 1991 album, Loveless. Loveless is a rather important album in terms of the pioneering of the shoegaze subgenre. It certainly did contribute to the sound of that subgenre. I mean, it's one of those few albums where the actual album artwork is an indicator towards the actual sound of the album. It really does capture it, like the fuzzy kind of guitar with the tones of pinks and reds. This album is definitely, for my Bloody Valentine as a band, their magnum opus in a way. It took them a fucking long time and it cost them a lot of money to make this specific album. 2 years it took. And the label that they did this album with, which was Creation Records, basically went bankrupt because it just cost so much money to make this specific album. Loveless is kind of like Kevin Shields' little baby, as in like he was in total control of like a lot of things in this album, such as like the bass and the guitar, sometimes some of the lyrics, and sometimes even some of the drumming and stuff. My Bloody Valentine and many other shoegaze bands share this characteristic in their music where we don't actually understand what they are singing in the songs. There are no definitive lyrics. It's something that you kind of just improvise as you're listening to the music. And personally, I really enjoy that. Maybe there's people that don't enjoy that, but for this specific album, Loveless, the band actually never really released any definitive lyrics. Although when they were releasing their album in Japan, it's kind of like compulsory apparently to release some lyrics. So they did release some lyrics for that, for those prints, but they obviously were not correct lyrics. If you follow them with the songs, they're like kind of wrong, but I like that though. Kevin Shields was really into this whole like dreaming, physical worlds, dreaming worlds sort of stuff. I'm not sure it's like lucid dreaming, but basically like getting tired, and then from that really being really tired, you start to like hallucinate stuff. He was apparently into that stuff, and that probably did influence the making of this album. I mean, it did take a long time. And certainly when you think about that and you listen to the whole album all over again with that in mind, it makes sense, because definitely it just sounds so sleepy, the album. So let's dive into the actual songs that are on this album. Let's start off with the opening song, that is Only Shallow, one of my personally favorite songs ever. I can listen to that song over and over and over and over again. I don't know why, but there's something about that song that I never get tired of, and this is in a lot of Loveless songs, a lot of my Bloody Valentine songs, because they're so densely populated with like overlayering and everything. Every time you listen to it, it's like a lot for your mind to kind of take in, and it's beautiful because you listen to something else each time. I mean, not literally, but pretty close enough. Like, it's not the exact same. Other times you focus on this, other times you focus on that. It's a bit like that, and so I really enjoy that, and Only Shallow is like a pretty good showcase of that, I could say, perhaps. It's oozing with sound, yet it is very steady in its rhythm. Also, When You Sleep, that's another really catchy tune, melancholic, melodic kind of song as well. It's funny how I discovered the song Loomer. I was once listening to the whole album and I was sat in a park and it was like raining that day and it was just like horrible, miserable weather. And when Loomer came on, I was just like really feeling the atmosphere. Like, I was actually enjoying the fact that it was a gloomy day and it was miserable. It just wanders into your eardrums so beautifully. Like, it oozes into your eardrums softly, yet so heavily, like you feel it. I don't know, it's a very strange thing. It's like, it's not even like being high, it's just being. That's what it is, it's being. I don't know. A similar thing can be said about the song To Hear Knows When. The layering of the music, the instruments, along with Belinda's vocals, it's just beautiful. It's an experience, really. It's not even just a song, it's like, it's a whole fucking thing. The song sometimes is probably one of the few songs on the album that you can kind of like pick out and listen to. If you just want to listen to a nice song and you're just a nice average person, then sometimes it's pretty good. When we talk about My Bloody Valentine and this album Loveless, there's a lot of texture. And obviously texture differs from song to song, but there is a certain consistency of texture that remains in every single song. So for instance, and sometimes the texture is rather light and fluffy, but at the same time it still remains heavy, and that's like every song on the album. The texture is still heavy, but the way in which it's executed or whatever, it's different, and here it's a bit softer and feathery. On the other hand, both songs, Come In Alone and What You Want, they have a heavier texture. And so going from something like Sometimes to those kind of songs, it's a good contrast. However, Touched is probably the song that I least like in this album. It feels a bit more distant. I don't feel a certain connection with it. I don't know, people argue that with shoegaze you can't ever feel some kind of connection because you don't even know what the hell they're singing. But Touched, it just has this, it's boring. Blown a Wish, on the other hand, feels a bit like a dream, like a light dream. A bit like Sometimes, actually. But it probably feels a little bit more mechanic than Sometimes. Then To Hear Knows When, it feels like, you know that moment when you're literally about to fall asleep, like your eyes are closing, they're very heavy, and you're kind of like trying, everything's fading, you're trying to go to sleep. That's what the song feels like. The album finishes on the song Soon, which, just like Only Shallow and Loomer, it is one of my favorite songs. It's really an ideal way to finish the entire album. It's got a light texture comparing to like Only Shallow or Loomer. It feels a bit like melody versus density. And I know you see this a lot in the whole album, but this last song just kind of leaves a good taste in your mouth of that idea of the density of the sound versus the melody of the sound. Within that slight contradiction, there is a lack of emotion that makes you want to feel emotion. So because there's a lack of emotion, you yourself are searching for emotion. And that's what Soon feels like. That's what a lot of the songs on this album feel like. It's kind of like when you walk into an art gallery and you see that one painting on the wall and there's something about it that just draws you into the painting, but you can't quite pinpoint exactly what that is. And that's what Loveless is to me. So you guys can go ahead and tell me what you feel about the album Loveless by My Bloody Valentine. Is it really their magnum opus, or is it just pretentious shit? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And also, before I go, I would like to give a shout out to Robin, who gave me a shout out on his music blog called Javla Music. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'll give you guys the link either here or probably in the description box. So make sure to click that and check out his music blog. He does a lot of different music reviews and stuff, so it's not just rock or metal, it's a lot of different things. So I totally recommend you guys to go and check it out. And I hope you have a nice day. See you all.